Welcome back. Well, what do you know? The old Indian defense strikes again, this time in Switzerland, and this time on one of those big outdoor boards with the big pieces. Yeah, we took a river cruise on the Rhine River, and we ended up in Basel, Switzerland. We took a bus to Lucerne, and a couple blocks from our hotel, I noticed a park with one of those big chess sets that they have in Europe, and they have one in St. Louis at the big chess center there also. But it was always raining in Lucerne. It rained on and off every day. But anyway, right before or the night before we left, the rain stopped, and I wandered over there, and there were a bunch of folks, and so chess happened. So I want to show you a game, and what's the theme here? That the chess gods will smile on you if you play this opening. Okay, so I had black. Looks familiar, I'm sure. Then black makes this horrible move, and white played e4. I often wonder why people play e4 in this kind of position, and it's not a good move. It weakens the d4 square. I think the best example or the best explanation I can come up with is they've decided to play the Ruy Lopez and have forgotten that there's been five moves already, and you just, yeah, okay, it's e4 and e5 there, but this ain't no Ruy Lopez, and anyway, e4 is not a good move. So I play c6. Sure enough, bishop g5. They can't help themselves. And of course, castling with check coming next. Okay, it's not going to be with check because I play knight b to d7. But he castled, and I get out of the pin. And he played a3. He doesn't want my bishop on b4. And I sure enough was going to play it there. Okay, knight f3. a4, and now of course I love this pawn structure, and this is, again, you'll get this a lot, and now the c5 square is just a beautiful square for black. Okay, white fooled around a little bit, was not very efficient or effective. Bishop e2, and then he played bishop to d3 on the next move, I think. Well, I played h6. By the way, I think, let me go back here. I think the right move is probably knight to g4, threading f2, and it's a little awkward to defend it. You got to play rook f1 or something. Then black plays f6, and the game continues. What I played is fine. I really think you just can't go wrong with this opening. Yeah, I don't care that my pawns are doubled. Whenever I feel like undoubling them, I'll play f5. I don't see a way to stop that. There's something funny about these doubled f pawns, even with white. It doesn't seem to me to be much of a problem. The only problem with a pawn structure like that is if the other guy can land on the weak square there and stay there. But that never can be. Here, for instance, yeah, he can get his knight to f5, and I'll take it with my bishop on c8. And like I say, if he doesn't try to clamp down on the f5 square, I can play f5 if I want to. I didn't think it was very important in this game. Okay, take. I think he played bishop to d3 now, and this is how I could have played bishop c5, but I want my knight on that square. So I play here, and he sees the check coming, and so he gets out of the way. Now he attacks my a pawn, and I defend it pretty easily. But this is going to be a little bit of a problem, and this is one reason why, apart from the fact that it's my favorite opening. Um, yeah, I have basically an isolated A pawn, and one of the problems, a problem that I had here, I'm not going to have a rook tied down to an A pawn. There's no way to win a chess game that way. So I knew that there might be a problem. So okay, knight to c5. Right now there's no problem. I think he played rook on rook h to e1, and now he attacked my knight. Of course, I'm taking it. Now, having said all I said about the f5 square, it's a little harder for him to play f4 here with the black squared bishop on h6. And so, yeah, I think under certain circumstances, yeah, those double pawns can be exploited, and the weak squares can be exploited. So, okay. So I didn't know what to do here either. So we bombed around a little bit. He played king up to a2. I played h4. He took the g file. I don't mind that. He can't afford to exchange. I take back, and my a rook that's on a8 now, that will be on g8 soon, comes down to g2 and over, and anyway. So okay, and this is standard chess. You're not to be the first person to exchange because you give up the file. That's pretty basic stuff. Now I think he just decided to come back, and so this is where I had to decide. Yeah, I think I bombed around for one more move here. I decided that I was going to post up with my rook, but here's where he played knight to e2. I'm not exactly sure what the plan was. Anyway, so I have one move to free my rook because he's not attacking my a pawn. But it is an isolated pawn, sort of. He took, and I took. He takes back. I guess that's why he moved his knight, and I take back here. But now the weakness of the a pawn is going to sort of make itself felt, or at any rate, it seemed it would be. In fact, in this position, I'm 2.60. I can prevent the knight from going to c3 by bishop to d2. I didn't notice that. And, my excuse is that these were big pieces, and there wasn't a clock, and I wasn't inside. I was a little more relaxed. Okay, that's a little bogus. Yeah, so black's better here, and the big problem, of course, for white is this h3 pawn is vulnerable to this knight. But I was oblivious to the fact that I could keep. I didn't see bishop to d2. I just started developing my pieces, and I'd seen this coming and wasn't sure what I was going to do about it. Okay, so here's the problem. The pawn is attacked twice, and I thought, okay, I can move my knight to e6. I guess I wasn't analyzing very deeply here. It looks like a very strong move. He can. What can he do? Yeah, they give knight e6, bishop to d3, and then he comes back and defends his h3 pawn on bishop f1. That's got to be better for black. But there are opposite-colored bishops, and my a pawn is hanging. Anyway, but I didn't really look very deeply. I just said to myself, okay, I'll play knight to b3. This is the game, because if he takes on a4, then my knight will head over to the king side, and there's some sweet pawns there. But I knew that he would very likely take on b3, and I remember thinking to myself, well, what will be will be. That b3 pawn can't be long for the world, but maybe I'll find some counterplay somewhere. And he took, and I'm sure he was thinking the same way. He took back, but then I guess we both realized um, that he can't get here from there. He can't get the b3. The only way he can, his king is frozen, right? The only way he can attack b3 is with a knight on c1, and I can take it. And in the meantime, my king will be heading to the center. And so, in fact, the computer thinks this is pretty close to equal. Black's a little better, 0.89 in black's favor. I guess that's almost nothing. They give, of course, white does have to keep black's king from entering. He'll just win the game immediately. So the only move is pawn to c5. Yes, it will be taken with a bishop there and bishop there, and black will take on f2. So black will win a pawn, but white will win the b3 pawn. What in fact happened is it's a little anticlimactic, but I don't mind. Knight e2, king b6, and now it's -6. And it's much worse than just being down a pawn. Black's king is entering. He played, I guess they give the best move as being f4, but that's still -6. So yeah, it's lost. Anyway, he played knight to c1, and I took and take, and the game went like this. He didn't resign here, but in fact, I have a majority here. I got my B and C pawns moving, and he resigned soon after. But I remember thinking during the game that there was a possible weird way to lose this, and let me look and see if I was right about this. Okay, suppose I play B5. That doesn't seem like it can be wrong. And he plays king to D2. And I play C5. And he plays king back to E3. I was thinking that if I played B4, which seems logical, he could play A4. Oh, well, black stalemated. Yes, I didn't. Yeah, okay. So I knew there was something. So F5. And okay, so white. Now it's +6. Now it's +6. So there was a way to screw it up. So they think that the right move here is king to D2. Sure. King to D2 to run. I guess to run black out of moves. If he has to play his king to D4, then the A pawn runs. The A pawn can't run yet because king goes back to B4. Okay, so king to D2. Let's just see this. F4. King to D1. And now they give, no, it's +8, +6, +10. Okay, we don't have to look at it anymore. Okay, that's sort of it's sort of like a study. Okay, well, that's another reason for this game to, I may even not have to ask for forgiveness for showing another Old Indian, yet another Old Indian defense. Okay, so that's, it was played outdoors on a big set. It's my favorite opening. Hopefully it'll become your favorite opening. Live from Lucerne, Switzerland. Okay, I'll give the Old Indian a break, and I'll find some Tate games to go over. Okay, check me out. Hit the like button. I'll see you next time.